Hello, welcome back to the Megan Daubert podcast. I am Megan and I am here with you today. It is September. We have made it to September. I don't know, by the time you listen to this, who knows what month we'll be in, but for those of us in September, happy September. I know that this time of year brings a lot of joy and excitement and just freshness and newness, start of school, start of fall for a lot of people. And I am still holding hope that it will also bring something fresh and new for me too. I don't know what that is yet, but anyhow, just wanted to acknowledge happy September. I am talking through this journey of Michael's brain injury recovery and our family's recovery. And at this point in our podcast journey, we are at last summer. So though it is September now today, let me take you back to the summer of 2025, where Michael has been living at home again. I've been back home. Our family is back together. But do not be deceived. All is not right in the Daubert household in the summer of 2025. And I have been having a lot of difficulty piecing this episode together in my mind. So I just kind of press record to go for it. And I really think it's because a lot of the threads of what is on the docket for me to talk about today are still very much the same today. And so thinking about it, I'm not like reaching into the depths and telling you my story. I'm at the surface of where I am still today. And it's hard. It is confusing and it's not straightforward. So I think that's why my brain is like having a hard time telling this part of the story. So I'm going to do my best. And thank you for your grace as always in listening to this story with me. But so last summer, we can all acknowledge the funny things together. And I love telling those stories. And if you were in Michael's sphere of his new cell phone usage, you were privileged to be connected to him, to know that this man became obsessed with pickup trucks. So Michael is not driving anymore, right? And he, for the most part, knows that, but he is obsessed with trucks. And when I say obsessed, I mean he is sending you text messages all day long of like taking a poll of should he get a Ford F-150 or a Chevy Silverado, and he is sending you pictures. Oh, we had to stop whenever we saw trucks on the road or were walking past trucks in a parking lot. He had to stop and take pictures of them. So I am sorry, half of Virginia Beach truck drivers. I know that we have a picture of your truck on Michael's second phone, but that is what this kid was doing. So we would be like walking to the baseball field with like our wagon and our luggage or chairs and stuff. And he would be like, oh, an F-150. And he would like get his phone out and pause and take the picture of it. And we would all just be like, doo, 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 as we were waiting. And sometimes I was like, Michael, some people, especially if they're in their vehicle at the moment, don't want you to be taking pictures of their cars. And he would look at me like, what are you talking about? And just like brush me off. And that was fun. So that his obsession with trucks extended for months and months and months, but he would always text you being his friends in his sphere, pictures of them, questions of what he should get, what color he should get. If you look up his like Safari window search tab, it would be all these open windows of just Google images of pickup trucks. And no, he did not drive a truck before. He had always wanted one. Like a truck is something that Michael Daubert always wanted, still wants, rightfully so. So like it made sense, but his fixation with that idea was next level. So that was something that kind of characterized our whole summer, was Michael and his trucks. Kind of like how he would brush me off when I recommend he not take a picture of people in their cars. He was, as conversation not really deepened, but grew as he was home, he's lacking emotions. He does not feel or experience emotions at all. He's just kind of like blank, except for excitement for trucks. He's not feeling deeply. And except he was able to get frustrated with me a lot, which I did capture things on video just kind of for our sake, which I will not share because it's not fun. And it wasn't normal, Michael. It was this new version of him talking to me in ways that I had never really experienced before. And again, in the moment, I would always have to tell myself, this is because of his brain injury. This is because he cannot empathize. He physically cannot put himself in someone else's shoes. Like his brain, the damage has been done to whatever part of the brain holds his ability to empathize and to see other vantage points and to really do anything except what his like primal basic instincts need. And he's not even feeling all of his primal basic instincts. He's not feeling hunger, he's not feeling fullness, he doesn't acknowledge when he's tired. He is just like fixated on what is right in front of him, what Michael wants, what I am doing. I'm doing this now, don't stand in my way. And as you're caregiving for someone like that, it's very tiring. I was very weary of, I didn't feel like I had to step on eggshells, but like I was just always braced for this could be an ugly response or this could not be a great conversation. And how do I shield my kids from that? Do I shield my kids from that? Is it wise? Or should I let them experience all of it because this is our reality and there's no hiding it from them? It got messy. And I began to like walk through the path of like feeling hurt. Not only was I feeling just the trauma response from the past 4 months of what Michael had been through and what I had been through, but now I was beginning to hurt and ache for my Michael, for our marriage, for our relationship, for what I had but now don't have. And there's a lot of there were a lot of things that like I could no longer keep the dam, if you will, in place. Like it was beginning to buckle and it was beginning to spill over into my thoughts and my life. And I was going to start needing to process this soon. And I mentioned before, I had started counseling that summer. It was a gift, and I will jump back into that in a second. But so with the new emotional world that I was stepping into, I also was dealing with regular household things. Like I had to go back and forth from all the doctor and medical things and all the medical and doctor's appointments that my children needed. And we were trying to get our taxes straight from the past year, trying to understand all of Michael's world. He's a small business owner, so he alone kind of kept that information. And we were all trying to navigate and figure out how to find all the things we needed to find in his computer system. And he was very organized. So like we were able to, but it was a very, very long drawn out process. And I'm trying to wrap my mind around understanding all the financial things. And of course he's still not working. So there's this also like this fear in my mind of, hey, there is a ticking time bomb of funds running out. But my family had advised me for this time, hey, we're going to punt this conversation about finances down the road. You do not need to focus or fixate on this right now, Megan. Like your job is X, Y, and Z. We're okay for the moment. We will get there. But like, I couldn't erase that knowledge from my mind of like, whoa, the longer this goes on, the longer we're not making an income, what's going to happen eventually? But that was not for me to solve at that point in time last summer, but it was under there along with the hurt of that dam that was breaking. So, okay, all the logistical things are happening. And then one day our air conditioning stops working. Okay, no problem, right? Like I've dealt with this before. I can probably dig up the old files of who we last used to tune up our air conditioning. So I remember going and finding that and calling the last person who came out to come out again. And we had worked with this company with real estate deals and liked them well enough. I trusted them. They came out, and thankfully it was not an entire unit issue, but it was something that we could spend a couple $100s on and get fixed. But like this is a summer, it was hot and it took several days because we were in a heat wave. And so we had to wait for a while to get our AC down from we were like the high 80s. We were peaking like 90 degrees inside the house at this point last summer. Great guy came out, got it working again. Praise the Lord. We have a normal, cool house again. And then one night I heard water dripping and I got up. I have ridiculous hearing, by the way. Like that's just, I can hear. One time when we were living in Northern Virginia, our house was struck by lightning. And that was a wild event in and of itself. But then the next day, I kept hearing this low, like hissing sound that no one else could hear. It ended up being a natural gas leak. There was a gas pipe in our house, and so we had called the fire department to come back because they had inspected like the roof after the lightning strike, and they could not hear it. But I was like, you guys, and I like took them to the correct place in the ceiling where I was hearing that noise. And sure enough, they dug a hole and it was a pipe that had a hole in it. Anyhow, great storytelling, Megan. Sorry. I was really excited about the quality of my hearing and I thought you all should know. So anyway, I wake up to hear this dripping and I go and investigate, and it is in the wall between our bedroom and our kids' bathroom. And it is just like it's this unnatural constant dripping of water. And my heart sinks. I'm like, uh-oh. So our AC unit is above the bathroom, and there was something that was completely overlooked by the AC company, and it like water was just pooling and not going to the right place. And so it was coming down through the walls. And I remember just panicking, like, this is the last thing I need right now. I know that this is trouble. Here we go. But I've mentioned this before. Our next door neighbors, they are phenomenal and have a restoration company. And I was able to call them, and they are just one of the biggest blessings in our life and have come to my aid so many times in this season. And he came over and inspected and was like, yep, sure enough. Hey, this is what's happening. This is what we're going to need to do. This is what I need you to do. I'm going to get my guys here in the morning. We're going to tear out a piece and see how far the damage is. Is there any mold? So the next morning they came over, and sure enough, there was significant water damage where we had to rip everything out of the kids' bathroom. So like add that to the list of things that is going on in my life. I had to call home insurance. And now again, I am admitting this for everyone to hear. True, I had never dealt with our home insurance before. It was always Michael. So I had to go through our filing cabinet and figure out who our home insurance was through, call, file a claim. I mean, I'm growing up. I'm doing all these things that I probably should have known how to do before, but add it to the list. Why not do it now, right? So I just remember like, okay, so our bathroom is getting torn up. Now we're living in a construction zone. Our AC was apparently not fixed. I have to call home insurance. I'm like thinking, oh my gosh, remodeling a bathroom. I was not planning on this. Do we have the money to do this? And like now we're sharing a bathroom with our kids, but it's just if you've ever done that before, you know that it's not fun. But we were also blessed with people from our church, dear friends, Brad and Lori, who came to my rescue and took over the process of the renovating of that bathroom. Like they are not only trusted friends, but very skilled workers. And they like came in and just like carried me is what it felt like through this process of remodeling the bathroom. And I just like the Lord's provision in that time, though it was so much going on in our household and in our life. Like he provided our next door neighbors, he provided Brad and Lori, and like that was not lost on me. Like Brad and Lori probably got tired of me telling them how much I love them and how thankful I was for them every time they came to our house, because I couldn't get over just their generosity and their willingness to serve me and my family, and like the Lord's kindness in that moment of chaos. So that was a good like month-long process of me just being like, what else? Actually, Megan, don't say what else, because I'm not sure that you can handle anymore. So just don't ask what else, just like take it, like continue on your ninja warrior training path, Megan. Like it was so much. I have this place in my journal where I said, I had an anxious time falling asleep last night. Go figure. I said my mind was racing. I needed to cancel therapy today because there was too much going on, too much to handle. Probably the theme of my year, too much to handle. I had to call back the neurologist office for scheduling. I had to make an appointment in Richmond. More on that next episode. I had to fill out school forms for our children. I had to call their pediatrician's office and go get, all these physicals and new immunization records. And our pediatrician, they were about to drop us because our insurance was about to change. So I had to deal with that too. I had to call back our HVAC company because the water was leaking. I just said that. We had to let the restoration company come out and rip everything out that had been damaged, tear up the floors. I had to call our homeowner insurance company, file a claim. I had to babysit for 4 hours, but that was a joy because this is my nephew and I love him so much. I made cookies with Ryland. I did several loads of laundry. When I took Carmen to her first therapy appointment, that's all in one day. And I was writing this in my journal at the time because I was like, I can't sleep. Like my mind is racing. Like this is just the caliber of life that I was now living at this point in our healing journey. And I remember, our counselor the next day, or my counselor, I was expressing like, there's so much going on in my mind. And in my mind, I'm also thinking of the future. Like, if this is what's normal now, how, I had questions of like, how am I taking care of my kids long term? How am I doing this on my own? Like, I'm not saving for college. I'm not saving for all the other things you have to pay for children for. How am I supposed to do this? What direction do I head now? And I remember my counselor just telling me, like, Megan, your family's direction right now is healing, and it's going to look different from probably most everyone in your circle. Do not compare your direction and your family's vision right now to anyone else. Like, it might take 1 year, it might take 2 years, it might take 3 years, but your family planning is healing and restoration. It is not focusing on how are we providing futures for our family and our children. It is not what are our career goals. It is how do we heal? And to have her tell me that was like, okay, thank you. I needed some direction. It's not exactly the direction I want, but it's what our family's goal is. And yes, it's going to look different. And I needed her to kind of put me back on that track of how to think about the future and, hey, it's okay to prioritize healing. Like all your money right now is going towards doctor's appointments, therapies, anything peripheral that might help him, a little extra money on this type of vitamins, extra money on healthier, wholesome foods that encourage brain growth and anti-inflammatory diets and all those things that just cost a ton of money. Like that's okay, because that's what your family needs right now. So it's just this like total whirlwind going on in my mind, in my household, in my heart, in my kids' lives at all times. And yeah, just constantly being reminded of Michael's scenario. Like it's hard. And I think I wanted to try and share this with all of you because a lot of like at that time in our life, I remember like you could look at our life and be like, praise the Lord, Michael is home. He is here. He is doing so well. And there were lots of well-meaning people in our life that were so focused on all of that positivity and praise the Lord, he's here and I can have a conversation with him. But I think what I would just love to draw attention to is like, that is not the only thing to focus on when somebody goes through a crisis in life. Like we shouldn't sweep the hard things under the rug. Like that's not living fully. I think we were meant to lament and acknowledge the hard. And when you are walking alongside somebody, whether they are your family members or your friends, people in your community, or people that you just, peripherally who have been dealing with loss or major illness, any type of grief, whatever your story is, it is much easier for someone to answer the question of how are you, and say like, hey, I'm fine, like things are good. But but they're not. And what I want other people to know, and what I try to remember for other people, is there is something to honoring the hard in someone's life, like sitting with them in their darkness. And I'm not saying we look at life with glass half empty mentality. Like, believe me, I am a glass half full. I have a bent towards optimism. I chase joy. But when someone does that back to you from the outside, and they don't acknowledge the pain and the hardship, and they don't want to go to those hard places with you, like, it feels like that person has totally missed the reality of your life, or that person is invalidating a word, right? Great. That person is not validating your pain, your hardship. So I would just love to just draw attention to, like, hey, maybe analyze how you respond to other people in these scenarios with a curiosity towards yourself. Am I approaching this by only focusing on the positive, on the blessings, on the answered prayers? Because that is much easier for me, because I have a hard time dealing with the hard. Like, okay, maybe if that's the scenario, then don't say anything to the people walking through a hardship. Just, like, let the people who can come along them better do that. Because what is so helpful is for someone to come in, and you can acknowledge the good things, but also be like, hey, what is really hard right now? What are the deep, dark things that I can be praying for you in? How can I meet your needs practically? Like, do you want to talk about the hardships? Do you want to talk about what you've lost? Do you want to talk about your pain? I don't have answers, but I'll be a listening ear. Like, that's how we lament with people. And that's how we move through the pain and grief and head towards healing. Like, I don't think you can have healing fully without lament. And I think as a society, we are so not willing to lament with people long enough for an appropriate amount of time. And I've said it before here, clearly scenarios like me and my families take a really long time. And I know we are not the only people that go through something like this. Just be aware that healing takes a long time. And when we're in pain, we want people to recognize that pain and to not push us out of that pain towards an artificial happiness, an artificial attitude of praise and blessing. Like, we will get there eventually in the Lord's timing, but just this recognition of the deep and the hard and the painful in the person who is suffering is so much more helpful than pushing them towards positivity before they're ready. So, that I think just applies towards all of us, because we will always know somebody who is going through pain and suffering at any given time. And just sharing these little bits of my story with you in hopes that you can have some type of insight into what is helpful and what blesses people, and how do we do this next time, and how do people better come alongside you when you're hurting. So anyhow, those are my scattered thoughts for today. And my dog are you done? Okay. So, okay. This is fun. This has been a great time. This is reality. Here we are. I'm going to end the show. Okay. Not the show. I'm going to end the podcast. We're done. My dog clearly needs something. It's been a time. All right, y'all. Blessings. Peace. I'll see you next time on the Megan Dubber podcast.